All right, all right. So today we got a special guest, Zuhair. Dr. Zuhair. He's a podiatrist and he lost 26 pounds in 16 weeks.
You can make it 27 actually, as of a couple days ago.
I'm
Nice.
sorry. I'm sorry. 27 pounds in
Uh,
16 weeks. Amazing, man.
I love it.
How do you feel?
I'm feeling really good. I think it's easy to lose track of how you're feeling when you're slowly adding the pounds on. And then when, looking back 3, 4 months ago now, just feeling lighter, I think I don't know if it's, mentally or not, but I feel like I'm moving a little bit better too, a little bit, quicker on my feet, have a little bit of a lighter step. But yeah, man, I'm feeling really good, both physically and I think mentally as well. I think a lot of that has helped too, for sure.
Awesome, man. Dude, I see that bicep right there, man. He's
Yeah,
flexing.
you see that you flex that a little bit here. It's starting to come in. It's starting to
Uh,
come in.
nice,
That's Coach
nice.
Steve right there. That little flex there is for Coach Steve.
There you go. I love
Love
it.
it, love it, love it. So Zuhair, take us back to tell us about life before the program.
Yeah, so I still remember the first time that I had my video call with Coach Steve. I was finishing up at the hospital and I had set it up. And I think I was kind of at a point where I was like, look, I've been back and forth. I've been able to lose some weight and maybe put on a little bit of muscle, but it's never been very consistent. Unless you're talking your college undergrad days. And work, my schedule, everything just continuously get is continuing to get busier, right? I mean, you say medical school, you say residency, you say fellowship, work, everything's going to get a little bit better, but it just all keeps on getting busier and busier. So for me, I know it had to have been more of a lifestyle change and a mentality change than anything. And that I think was going to be the thing that kind of helps me maintain where I want to be, both physically and again that component of that mental structure too.
Makes
Awesome, man. Like, so Zuhair, what were you doing in the past? Like, what did you try in the past prior to, starting with us?
Yeah, so intermittent fasting was kind of what I was doing. I'm not a big breakfast eater, but I think that, it kind of worked, kind of didn't. It was never really sustainable. For long term, it was like, all right, I would do the intermittent fasting, I would go high protein, but it was never after maybe 2, 3, 4 weeks, I would kind of slowly get back into, okay, for lunch, I'm having like a heavier meal, and then same thing for dinner. So I never really had a good understanding of the food that I was eating either. All right, it was whatever was available to me.
Mm,
And even with what was available to me, I never really focused in on macros or protein specifically, and then tracking like the actual protein as well.
as you were
Zuhair,
going down.
what kind of got you out of that cycle of, okay, let me just try it again or let me try IF again? Like, what is it that made you say, hey, I need a different solution here?
I think it was the initial conversation actually with Coach Steve where it's just like you tried the trend diets, you tried the fad stuff, and it works, right? I mean, some of the stuff works because you're doing or you're restricting. And then one of the things that I started realizing more and more was that having that restrictive mentality, like that's not going to work for me, right? I can't sit there and be like, all right, well, yeah, all my friends are going out, we're having burgers tonight, and I'm going to have like a salad or something. So I'm realizing that, it's not restrictive, but it's just more like monitored. And yeah, I can go out, I can have a burger, but what does that mean? That means I have my 125 or 150 ounces of water a day. It means I have my protein throughout the day, and that way I can, I'm more satiated, and I have the ability to actually go out and enjoy something to the level that I was, and not necessarily overindulge and have that for like breakfast, or not breakfast, but like lunch, dinner, and then, just kind of having that consistently.
Got it, man. And so, like, I mean, you're a young duck. I can't remember in our initial call and thereafter if you had any health issues or anything. Is there anything that cleared up? You might have had any health issues or any pains or anything like that? Can't
I mean,
recall.
yeah, luckily, I don't really have a whole lot. I mean, I do have like activity-induced asthma, a couple of small things that just get aggravated, but I was
Mhm.
snoring a good bit, I was snoring a good bit, and that's something where I feel like I haven't really, in the past 2, 3 months now, I haven't woken myself up from snoring.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and that's
Mm.
something which I would kind of like jolt awake in the middle of the night. So that's something I have noticed. The quality of sleep has gotten better. whether that's a more concerted effort to actually get at least a minimum of like 7 to 8 hours versus now there's, there's less, body fat that's actually
Mhm.
obstructing. So, that's something that I have noticed better too. And then I went out and actually played basketball and tennis for the first time in probably over about a year. And I wasn't nearly as winded as I thought I would have been versus where if I take a couple months off, 2, 3 months off, and I get back, that first game, that first couple games are rough, So I noticed that too, and that was a really nice benefit to dropping some of that weight and keeping some of these mindful habits, at the front of my mind.
Awesome, man. That's amazing.
So
Yeah,
here, I hear that, you make a great point where like, you're still living life, right? You're at
yeah.
work, you're out, with friends, family, right? You don't want to be eating that salad. I also heard Coach Seif mention that didn't you go through a move too?
Yeah, yeah. So that was pretty big. So I actually got hit by a tornado. I think this was about 2, 3 weeks before I officially started the program. So I didn't have like a regular spot, and kind of had my stuff all over the place. Was in between, like a temporary apartment, some hotels and stuff like that. And there was I think it was the second or third week when I had the discussion with Coach Steve, and I was like, look, does it make sense to postpone for a few weeks and then start at that time? And then he was just like, look, we're not a program, right? We're not just, oh, you do this for 4 weeks or 4 months and then that's it. This is a lifestyle. So regardless of if you're going through a hard time, if you're unable to, have regular access, you have the ability to make those changes and to incorporate what you need to in order to make things happen. So that was probably the most difficult week or couple of weeks because I didn't have anything. I was kind of like all over the place. I don't know what was going on, but just he was like, look, just maintain, right? We're not necessarily looking for, all right, you have to stick like 100% to this or even to a high level. Just maintain what you can for the next week or couple of weeks. And I think going through that made me realize that, hey, you know what? Things can get hard, but whatever you have access to, you can make the best of it. And the other nice thing for me was like I barely cooked at home, even before and even during, but I still tried to adhere to the food groups and try to, pick and choose whatever made sense for me, whether it was picking up food from work, right? I'm not grabbing like a 700, 800 calorie, like a baked potato or burrito or something like that. It's like, hey, there's some other options that will be higher in protein, but will still keep me going, keep my water intake up. So a lot of those things, when I was forming the habits earlier on, really helped, especially during that time period. And now it's just, it's like second nature to me, right? I can put down 20, 30 ounces of water in a sitting, and I'm easily hitting like 120 or so in a day.
That's awesome, man. I'm like a proud big brother, not your dad. I'm not that old. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Hey, you
a
caught yourself. You
proud
caught
big
yourself.
brother.
You
I
almost let
might
it
be able to
slip.
be your dad, but let's leave it at big brother, man. I'm really proud of you, man. That's awesome. Because this is where like when the tough gets going, you get going, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's the important key element that we try to train everybody. Like you're gonna have things that happen. Like who would think a tornado, right?
yeah,
But yet a traumatic event, displaced you. You were able to pivot. You were able to still continue, like you said, even if it was maintenance, we teach you that, right? So
yep,
when a traumatic event perhaps happens, sometimes it's death of a loved one. Sometimes it's an injury, a health problem, right? Sometimes it's vacation. Sometimes it's a wedding, whatever it is, right?
yep,
That life is always going to throw these things at you. We got to be able to maintain during those times. It's easy to lose weight when you're behind four walls and everything's prepped, but that's not
yep,
reality,
yep,
right?
absolutely.
And so being able to get out there and eat, like you said, be able to function as a young doc, right? And not be able to have to cook all the time, right?
Hmm.
And be able to lose weight, right? So
Yeah.
amazing, man. I'm really proud of you. Good job.
No, I appreciate that, and appreciate your guys' support throughout the entirety of the program, and not just making like the strict restrictions. It's like, hey, you know what? Yeah, even if you mess up, or even if you have this or that, just log it, and then make the next change that you have to do. So I think that mentality was very beneficial versus like, oh man, well tomorrow night you just have to eat like lettuce all day or something like that. You know what I mean? So that was really helpful. So I appreciate both you and Coach Vinod, supporting me throughout that process.
Awesome, man. Yeah, our big thing is here is if you have to eat chicken and broccoli for the rest of your life, it's not going to work, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you have to be able to learn how to moderately eat throughout the week, not just once a week. As I've told you guys, and as you know, our program doesn't teach cheat days, right? Cheat
Yeah.
days. Though
Yep.
there's no such thing as a cheat day, but you're going to learn how to eat even when out. Like you said, you had social life, correct? You continued your
Hmm.
social life when we were out, when you
Absolutely.
were out, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
And
And I
what
mean, there's days when, people are ordering pizza, whatever it is. And I didn't feel like, hey, yeah, I'm not going to go and eat half a pizza. But yeah, I'll have a couple slices and, I'll increase my water intake. I'll make sure I have my protein bar or protein shake before or after. And, no big issues. No big issues. I still get to enjoy what I want to enjoy.
amazing, awesome, man. You got any questions for him, Mohammed? I know I've been talking for a minute.
No, no, no.
Yeah.
No, I mean like Zuhair, it sounds like you're a changed man. Sounds like you got the protocol. You got what you got to do. You know how the system works, but it didn't happen overnight.
Not at all. Yeah. Yeah, not at all. I mean, the habit forming takes a minute, Even up until like the second month, I think it was still difficult to hit a lot of the goals that I was getting into. But I think the last 2, 3 weeks, I didn't do a great job of actually, checking off all of the things that I wanted to do. But by this point, it was more of like a mental habit. Like, all right, I'm waking up. What are my priorities? What am I grateful for? These are still things that I think are very beneficial to do. Yeah, I'm not documenting that I'm doing it, but it's still kind of that mentality that's there. And then just having the other thing that the program helps with too is, yeah, I had no idea what, like the calorie or like the macro counts were just looking at the food. But having that, unique coaching was like, okay, now I can look at something and yeah, I can probably get within a couple hundred calories and kind of figure out what the highest macro is within that particular food. So that's been really beneficial and helpful too, just in even snacks, right? I'll go for maybe like a tuna salad, something versus, like chips. And that's more fulfilling to me as well. So a lot of these small things, but also big things, but everything now has come to a point where it's just like, hey, I feel pretty good about any given day. I can find something that works for me. And if not, then I can do what I need to do in order to kind of accommodate for that.
Awesome, man. Amazing, man. Super proud of you, man. Any last questions, Mohammed, as we wrap up?
No, man, super proud of you, Zuhair. Dude, I guess, how has your perspective on health changed going through this program? Because
Yeah,
just
it, you know,
is
it,
it, is it just the weight loss? Is it just about the pounds on the scale? Or is there more to this?
No, there's so much more to it, and I think it does help me actually counsel my patients as well, and not just with food, right? One of the things that I used to do with like smoking counseling was the first thing before even telling them like, okay, this is bad, why is it bad? This is the effect that it's happening on your body. One of the first things that I always do now is I say just track how much you're smoking, right? Is it a pack a day? Is it 2 packs a day? I don't care what it is. It could be, like 5 packs a day. Just track it, right? Track it up until the next time you see me. And we have some chronic patients, right? So I'm seeing them every 4, 5, 6 weeks, if not sometimes sooner. By the time we get in like a month, then I'm saying like, okay, well, now I just want you to decrease by like maybe one or two. The effect on your body isn't going to be that much, but over the course of 3, 4 months, you're going to notice that you're decreasing that. So that comparison, I've kind of started doing a little bit more like food and health coaching and counseling too when it comes to some of these patients, and trying to help them put some things into perspective. I'm not a nutritionist by any means, but a lot of the pearls that I've gotten from the program is now being spread to some of my patients as well. And I think when you start breaking things down like that, it makes it easier for them to understand, right? I'm not telling you to, all right, you just completely stop your fried chicken or whatever it is, right? What I'm saying is, okay, get your get 75 ounces of water, right? Have a bigger like a steak, have a Salisbury steak versus a fried chicken. And to them, I think having that, oh, you know what? Okay, I can do that. But now you start incorporating more and more of it. At least some of the earlier, patients that I've been talking to about, they're saying that they're starting to incorporate those changes as well. And again, I think that comes back to the mentality and the mindset of the program and what we are taught too.
That's awesome, man. I love it. Practicing
Powerful.
what you preach.
That's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say. It's powerful when you practice what you preach.
Yeah,
Yeah. No,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Awesome, man. Well, last question here. If your colleagues are, debating like, hey, is this going to work for me? It's, are they gonna, they're on the fence about moving forward. What would you
Yeah.
say to them?
I think everything good that you want to do in life is going to be an investment. And I think the health is the same way, right? It's one of those things which either as a society or culturally or whatever it may be, it's just something that we don't want to put that investment, especially the monetary and financial investment into, but it's the same thing, right? You're going to invest in a car, you're going to invest in a house, you got to invest in your health the same way. And to be able to have, experienced coaches like you and Vinoj and someone who's going to help keep you on track, who's going to give you the information that you need to succeed to make that your own mentality, that is what the investment is, right? That's what you're buying into, both financially, both mentally, both physically, everything what it is. That's what you're buying into. You're not buying a program for, all right, summer and then that's it, right? This is something to help change your lifestyle. But yeah, it does come with, are you willing to put in that work too, right? And are you willing to try to make the lifestyle change and incorporate the habits, or are you in here for, all right, I'm going to do what I need to do for the time being, lose the weight and treat it as another fad. So there is that component as well. But if you're willing to invest in it, invest in yourself, and your health, then absolutely it's worth it. Right. If you're going to say, hey, I'm going to spend X amount of money to lose 20 pounds, 25 pounds, I think anyone's answer would be yes. Right. And I think that's how I look at it, is that's what I invested to lose 25 plus pounds,
It's
basically.
awesome. It's awesome, man. So much golden nuggets, man. I appreciate it. It's like you either pay for it now, and invest in your health, that you pay for it later in, who
Yeah,
knows, medicine, higher insurance
absolutely.
costs, like,
Yeah,
debilitating disease later on, like all the things that we know that can happen, right? So
yeah,
amazing, man.
absolutely.
Thank you for that reminder for everyone there. We look forward to keeping in touch, man. I know you
Of
kind of
course.
you hit goal and now you're just trying to, bulk them biceps up a little
Yeah,
bit. So yeah.
yeah,
So man, we'll be in touch, man.
absolutely.
Appreciate everything. And yeah, man, good job, man.
Yeah,
Easy.
the one disclaimer you guys have to put on is, man, you're gonna invest more money because I dropped a couple belt sizes and I had to get a whole new wardrobe. All right, so put that on your disclaimer there.
Nice. I love it. Love it. Yeah. It's a good problem to have, man.
It's a
So
good problem to
appreciate it.
have. It's a good problem to
Yep.
have.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. And
Awesome job, Zuhair. Appreciate you coming on with us, man. Thank you.
No worries. Yeah, thanks again for everything. And yeah, absolutely, I'll be in touch and keep you guys updated as things progress here.
cool. Awesome.